Hey everybody, happy Tutorial Thursday. Hope everyone is doing well. Wherever you are out there on the internet today, I was just rewatching our first tutorial broadcast. Focus on me, camera, please. From last night, and oh my lord, I will clip all of that and post it in Discord because it's just so funny. But hopefully I am non-demonic and everyone can understand me. My audio is good today, and we're going to be doing this. This is a really fast and easy project. This is one of those, if you're like, hey, I need a gift super fast, or hey, I'm feeling unadorned and I need rings super quickly, this is a really great tutorial for you. And we're going to be done, I kid you not, in probably like 20 minutes because it's just that easy. So we are doing a basic wire ring. This is literally the most basic wire ring you can do. You can do this with a large stone, you can do it with a small stone, you can do it with no stone actually if you want, and just make a little wire, kind of a rosette in the center. So incredibly easy, incredibly quick, and also very fun. So what do we need as far as tools and supplies? We're going to need some wire, and you can do this with either 22 or 20 gauge wire. I'm using 22 today. Why would you choose one over the other? So 22 is thinner than 20 because the higher the gauge number, the thinner the wire actually is, which means that you're going to have a wider variety of beads that will fit on your 22 gauge than will fit on your 20 gauge. But conversely, your 20 gauge is going to be sturdier, it's going to be thicker, it's going to make you a chunkier ring. So you know, you kind of have to decide, do you want delicate, do you want chunky, what bead are you going to use, bead or beads, because you can actually use more than one on this ring. You know, what wire will they fit on? All of these things are kind of factors when it comes to deciding what wire you're going to use. And then you need a bead or beads. So I've got a bunch of cool single beads here. So pluses and minuses to some different shapes of beads for this. So my round and oval beads are going to be my best candidates for this. That's because when you wrap your wire around, as you can see, it's wrapped around the bead. If you have a bead that is square, has squared off edges, it's going to want to kind of tuck underneath them, and it doesn't quite look as pretty. So as far as the beads in my palm here, this labradorite bead is probably my least my worst candidate for this ring. So we're going to go ahead and set that aside. My chunky bead here, that will work fine as well. And then I've got my rounds and my oval here. So I'm going to see if this chunky smoky quartz fits on my 22 gauge wire. And if it does, then that is going to be my winner. If it doesn't, then I'm going to find one of my other beads. And as far as supplies go, that's all you need. You need wire and a bead. As far as how much wire do you need? About 18 inches, which I realize is more than you might think you need, but I promise, yep, that fits. So smoky quartz is my winner. It's just like any other project where circles are involved. You're going to go around your ring mandrel a couple times, and then you're going to go around your stone several times. So it takes more wire than you think. As far as tools go, you will need a ring mandrel or a ring stick, and the difference between the two is just that a ring mandrel actually has your sizes marked and labeled on there. A ring stick is more just a conical shaped piece of wood, and you can actually mark this. You can use a ring sizer and you can mark this with your ring sizes. You don't need to hammer your ring, so your wood stick is just as good an option as your steel ring mandrel, and obviously your wooden ring stick is less expensive. You can also use a plastic, sorry y'all, allergies, my eyes are just watering like nobody's business today. You could also use a plastic ring mandrel for this because once again you don't have to hammer on it. If you've got the money, investing in a steel ring mandrel is probably your best bet because this one is the most multi-purpose. You can hammer on it, you can just form wire on it, you can put hot soldered pieces on it to form them. So this is a very multi-purpose tool, but it's also not a cheap tool. Last time I checked, these were running about 50 or 60 bucks versus this ring stick, which I got for $5. So it's just a question of what are you doing with it and what kind of facility do you need from your tool. But if you just want to invest in one tool and not have to buy anything else, stainless steel is your best bet. And in addition to your ring mandrel, you are going to need your basic wire wrapping tools, your chain nose pliers, the flat ones that grab things, your wire cutters, and we may not need these, but I always have my round nose pliers at hand as well, just because I can tend to grab the 3 as a set. So I'm going to take my 22 gauge wire and I'm going to cut myself 18 inches. Like I said, that may seem like way more than you need, but I promise it's going to get used up much faster than you think. So I cut myself 18 inches of 22 gauge wire. And onto that 22 inches of 22 gauge wire, I'm going to go ahead and string my pretty smoky quartz bead. Alright, and I want to put it in approximately the middle of my wire, so the way that I'm figuring that out is I literally just folded my wire in half. And my smoky quartz is at the middle. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab my ring mandrel, figure out what size I want. 7's a pretty average size, so since this ring is going to be for sale, I'm going to go ahead and do a 7. Now, I will tell you, if you're new to making rings, do not pick a size that is either your biggest finger or your smallest finger, because there's a solid chance that this ring is not going to turn out to be the size that you want. And if you've made it you know, at one end or the other end of the spectrum of your hands and you're making it for yourself, you may wind up with a ring that you cannot wear. So pick something in the middle. If your stone has a flatter side, as mine does, you want that to be down against your ring mandrel. So I'm at my size 7, and I'm just going to wrap my wire around the mandrel. So what I'm doing is I'm holding my stone to the mandrel, and I'm going to bring one end around, and I'm going to bring the other end around. And then what I'm going to do, because see how this has sprung up, like it's completely gotten huge? I want to make sure that all my wires are in a line, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 2 wire ends and I'm going to pull them. Now, since your mandrel is a circle, doesn't matter that my stone's not on the top of my mandrel anymore, because it's all the same. It's all a circle. So now I'm going to pull these 2, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap them, and yes, I'm totally resting this in my bra. I'm going to wrap them around. Now if you have a proper jeweler's bench, it'll actually have a slot for your mandrel to go in, so you can use 2 hands for this without having to balance it in your bra, which is awesome. But I do not have a proper jeweler's bench, so bra shelf it is. So I'm really pulling hard on these 2, like you can see on my finger. Like I am not being gentle with this wire, and I'm just wrapping it around. I'm hitting my camera. Like so. And once you've got wrapped around a couple of times, you can chill. You can take a breath, you can relax, and then we're just going to keep wrapping it around. And you can sort of grab these 2 wires and just wrap them as one, but at some point you're going to need to separate them. So when you start running out of wire, separate them out. So you once again have one on one side, one on the other side, and this is when we can take our ring off of our mandrel, and we've got enough wraps and such here that it shouldn't change size when you get it off of your mandrel. What is going to happen, notice when you release tension on your wraps, they're going to kind of spring up. So when we're going to wrap it off now, we're just going to put a little bit more tension on that, and then we're going to close it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this wire and I'm going to pull it a little bit, make sure those wraps are nice and tight, and then I'm going to push it through my ring shank like so, and then up and around and through again. And if you can't get your hands on it, just grab your chain nose pliers. There we go. And then trim. Now you want to make sure that this is tucked in nice and flat, because otherwise you're going to stab yourself on your ring. So you just want to grab it with your pliers and make sure that it actually goes nice and flat down so that it's not scratchy. And then we're going to do the same with our other wire. We're going to bring it around and through our shank twice. So once, pull it through and around, and twice. And up and over, and then trim, press down. Again, make sure you can't feel any scratch. Like there, that's still scratchy, so I'm going to grab that and push it down. And then the last thing I usually like to do is take this and put it back down on the mandrel to even everything out. So Lori had a great question. Can you wrap around the mandrel more than once for each wire so that you have more than a 2-wire shank? And the answer to that is absolutely, but you're gonna need to start with a longer piece of wire. Figure for each additional wrap around your mandrel, you're gonna need approximately 3 extra inches of wire. So my 18 inches of wire got me a 2-wire shank and then a pretty sturdy setting for my stone. So if I was going to do 5 wires, I would need an additional foot of wire probably to do that, because you really do want to make sure that you've got enough to go around your stone and make sure that it's kind of set and anchored in there. And that's it. That is my basic wire ring. It doesn't fit that finger. It's this finger. There we go. So again, super fun, super easy, great project if you have one single bead that you really like and want to feature it. You can make a stack of these with tiny beads and put 5 or 6 of them on your finger. That would be really fun. I've also seen people literally do this as a pendant and just kind of hang it down like that, and that would be fun. Especially you could do it with like a big teardrop bead, which would be super incredibly awkward as a ring, because it would, you know, stand up and it would kind of probably want to flop over. But if you were doing it as a pendant, you could actually use a really big teardrop bead and then you could hang this off of a chain. That would be really fun. So that's our stream for today. This is hilarious because it's 12:30, which means that some people are going to be looking for me to be getting on stream right now, and I'm actually done with the project. So thank you, Lori, so much for hanging out with me on my somewhat on time stream and super simple project for this Thursday afternoon. I'm Allison from Beading Dreams in Dallas, Texas. I will be back on this channel, twitch.tv/Beading Dream, this evening with our Halo ring. So it's another ring, but that one involves fire because it's Torch Thursday. So everyone have a great day. Lori, I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, and I will see you back on this channel. I know, right? Like, no one's used to me being on time. Like I said, I'm sure that there are people who are going to be looking for me to be on starting my stream right now, and it's already done because it's such an easy project. But thank you all so much. Everyone have a great afternoon, and we'll see y'all back on this channel, twitch.tv/Beading Dream, tonight at 6. Bye.